protect your assets, how to keep what you earn. I'm Noelle Randall, real estate millionaire, mentor, and entrepreneur. And in today's interview style episode, we are meeting with Michael Glassford. He is a living trust attorney that helps not only the wealthy protect their assets, but also those who are trying to create wealth for themselves. Michael Glassford is an actual expert and a certified attorney. He is going to be talking to us today on how to get this done and keep all of what we make. Let's go.
Noelle. Yeah, she can fix that. If you gotta get it done, all you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
Well, welcome, Michael Glassford. I am so excited to have you here today because we are talking about a very, very important topic, but we got to just get right to it. So, as a person that is trying to protect my assets and you being a living trust attorney, we just got to get right into it. First of all, just tell us, what does a living trust attorney do?
Thank you for having me. The purpose of a living trust or any kind of trust is planning to arrive into wealth. We have this idea where I won't have a trust, I won't have an estate plan until we're wealthy. And it's a mindset shift. We actually have to have the vehicle to arrive. We don't get the vehicle once we arrive. So it's a lot of education, and then a lot of just using the laws and the rules that we have on the books to make sure that families and individuals are protected.
Awesome. So tell me, as a person that's wealthy a little bit now, let's just say I have no money. Why would I need a living trust attorney?
So for that person that's just starting out, it's if the old adage, if you plan to fail or you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And it's the same with your financial literacy. And this is one of the vehicles that will get you to a position where you can start living in abundance and start doing the things and living your purpose and all of those things that we all hear about that we can't really attain because we're not using the right tools.
So true. So true. So, from Noelle's perspective, so I've kind of, I have all different types of attorneys now. And of course, this living trust one is a newer thing for me that I'm kind of working into. So we want to protect our assets. Talk about some of the great ways that we can protect our assets through these type of vehicles.
Okay. So there's lots of liabilities lurking out there. There's lots of dangers and things, as we live, we're going to run into some problems. And so the more that we can create shielding around the things that we're working hard to protect, whether that's a trust or an LLC or a corporation, Robert Kiyosaki says that the secret to wealth is having a corporation. I expand that and say, well, trusts are a part of that. That's the family corporation. Let's make sure that those are protected, or we have the shielding so we can put things into it and then have that confidence to know that what we're working so hard for is going to stay with us.
I love it. I love it. So as a mom, I have 5, 7 kids, depending on what day of the week you ask me. What are some of the benefits for me and my family and some of the things I have, 25 properties now. What are some of the benefits of having a living trust in this situation?
I think as a parent, we get, sidetracked. We're so focused on soccer practice and school and recitals and things like that if we don't have that system in place that's continually protecting and accumulating and growing our wealth, most likely we're not going to have it. And so for a mom, a dad, a single parent, a couple, we need to have that just rolling in place already in the background, working behind the scenes, or otherwise the forefront's just going to take over.
So how did you get into this, How did you get into to become a living trust attorney? About all of the different fields of law you could have practiced, how did you get into this one?
So a little bit of a long story, but I'll condense it. I've practiced for 16 years, and in the 7th grade, I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to write all the America's novel, right? And I've done that, but writing is, it takes a minute to get your books off the ground. And so I had to go into law school to feed the addiction of writing and story.
Very much so. I was going to get into law school, and it's a lot of writing.
Right. It's a lot of writing, but story and narrative are a big part of my life and who I am. And so as my practice has developed, I started in a small town and did general practice and did everything that came in the door with 1,200 people in the town. To doing divorce and estate planning and things of that nature. And then over the years, just having the luxury of narrowing it down, becoming an expert in one specific area, and finally just being able to say, this is what I do and nothing else.
Okay, Michael, you have said some amazing things, and I love that you are now an expert in this living trust thing. So, what is the difference between a will and a living trust? Because I think so many people confuse that.
We hear a lot about wills, in movies, wills in books, wills
Yeah.
in television shows. And why do we hear about wills and not trust so much? Well, because, what's the old TNT drama or TNT adage, we know drama, wills create drama. They make the story interesting.
Yeah.
And we don't want that for our family. A will is a good start. It's telling the court what to do when we pass away. But why be in the court at all? So a trust takes the court away out of the equation. We don't need the court because we already have a plan in place. We already have actors that have legal authority to do things. And we don't need that will. We still have one as a backup, but that's a secondary plan, not a first plan.
Okay, Michael, so I'm going to put you a tough one here because I'm growing, I'm getting more popular on YouTube and all of these things. And quite frankly, I'm getting a lot more information as to how I should be protecting myself, protecting my assets. So how would I protect myself against lawsuits against my assets and things like that?
So the brutal, honest truth is that you can't stop someone from suing you, but you can be ready for when that occurs, that your assets and your belongings are protected in the best way that the law affords. Okay. So for someone that's, has a high, you're having a high exposure and a high risk because you have some visibility. You can have your trust set up so your personal assets are protected. You can have your businesses set up, and you create these cells individual of themselves. And so if one goes down, the others aren't affected. And the trust is no different, especially for someone that's a solopreneur or someone that's just working to make ends meet. But everything's on the line because they're the actor. So if they get sued, their house is on the line. But if you have a trust and it's been in the trust for a while, a certain amount of time, they don't have a house to be taken away. The trust does. So we've created some layers of protection. There's some ways that lawyers can get around that. That's what lawyers do, but it's the best system in place to have some protection.
Oh my gosh, Michael Glassford, you are amazing as an attorney, and you said something so amazing about protecting assets. So why is it that we would not want to just leave our money in the bank? Why would we want to put it in different types of vehicle? Is our money safe in the bank?
So, that's a tricky question. Nothing's really safe nowadays, but money is a tool. So we want to be using it. If your hammer's in the garage and you're never using it to pound nails, what good is it? So if your money's just in a bank account, getting a very small percent of interest, if at all, it's not doing you a whole lot of good. So that's where you talk to a financial planner and a CPA, someone like that, that's going to help you reinvest that money and use it. And then whether it's in a bank account or in that investment account, then the trust is overall shielding it, protecting it, making sure that if anything happens to you, that money's going to go to whom you need it to go to, rather than the court or attorneys or things like that. It's going to go to your family and loved ones.
Are you saying that if we put our assets with a financial planner and then we put it in a trust, there's some extra protections there?
Yeah, so the planner is going to tell you how to drive, show you how to drive the car, and the trust is the car. And so as we create all of those systems and have them all working together, then we're going to have, maximize our results.
I love it. I love it. So this is not something just for the wealthy, though. It sounds like if you have less assets, this is probably even more important so that you protect them in a better way.
I'm convinced that you're not going to become wealthy or stay wealthy unless you have the right tools in place. And this is just one of the tools, financially planning and having the right, CPA and advisor and things like that are all crucial. But having this system in place also is it's the vehicle to wealth, I call it.
Whoa, that was an amazing point that Michael Glassford just made, and I can see why most people would need an attorney that helps you with living trust, because living trust and financial planning is what we need to keep more of what we earn. It also helps protect our assets just in case something goes wrong, not only just death, but if someone sues us or tries to take what we've earned. 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝐿 is an amazing attorney that is teaching us some amazing things, and I love the point that he's making about planning to be wealthy, not just being wealthy or getting an attorney after you've made money. Most people think that they need to wait until they have money or that they've acquired wealth before they are actually trying to protect that wealth. But if you really are planning to become wealthy and you want to protect your assets, you need to do that before you have all of the assets. You need to start planning and thinking about your future, thinking about your children's future, your family, and how to protect all of the assets even before you have them. If you're thinking about protecting your assets before you have them, then you definitely are planning to have them. And that is the key to getting some wealth. Now back to this interview. Okay, Michael, so you are amazing. You've been doing this for many years. So what is a do-it-yourself type of trust? You know, I know you teach on this a little bit. Talk us through that.
There's lots of ways to create these documents that you can go online and download. And we all know that, you know, your Google search doesn't equal whatever my professional degree is. That's out there though. Then there's the traditional, come work with an attorney, spend thousands of dollars because you're in their office with their mahogany bookshelves and their, you know, $30,000 books that you're paying for.
Right.
And, you know, there's the online, the .com services. So there are lots of different ways. So you've got to be educated. You got to be comfortable with the direction that you're taking. You have to have the funds to take it. My approach is a hybrid, because you're coming to a professional, an expert in the field, but the service that I'm providing is more akin to the virtual online. So I can take a lot of the costs out of that and pass the savings on to the client. So they get that expertise touch with the less expensive approach, you know, kind of break that barrier, because that is one of the barriers to estate planning. Oh, it's just too expensive, or I don't have enough stuff. And we take that away, then everyone has access to this kind of planning.
I love it. I love it. So do you offer this service? Where can people get this? How would someone learn more about this? Because this is something obviously we need. And like you said, this is the thing that gets us to wealth, not the thing that you get once you get wealthy.
Correct. And so I'm online at www.legallifeplan.com. You can reach out to me. You can have a 20-minute conversation about, you know, what fits your life, what fits your budget. You know, it's not a sales call. It's just an education call, and then you make the right decision for your family or for yourself. Right now, I'm licensed in Utah and Missouri. We're expanding that. But if you don't live in those two states, you can still call and we can still talk and see what's right for you.
Wow, that was an amazing interview, and I have a special gift just for you. I have created a training that I'm going to give to you absolutely free. Go to 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝐿E.com. That's Noelle, N-O-E-L-L-E with an S, 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝐿Etraining.com. I have created an entire training on real estate investing where I have amassed a ton of money starting from nothing. I literally was in my parents' basement with bankruptcy and bad credit, and I was able to create wealth for myself, and now I'm a real estate millionaire. This training shows you exactly how I did it, and you can learn this all for free. Go to 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝐿Etraining.com. I just want to make sure that you have all of the resources, all of the tools, and all of the knowledge that you need to be successful. This is Noelle, to your success.